umbrella, the shoulders of my trench coat were soaked. Not that it bothered me. I've always liked the rain, the city at night, wet streets stretching into winter darkness, a peculiar feeling of freedom that it contains. And things had gone well that day with the work. The end was very definitely in sight. The angel of death was closer now, shadowed in the half-light from the church, the two marble attendants on guard at the mausoleum's bronze doors. Everything as usual, except that tonight I could have sworn that there was a third figure, and that it moved out of the darkness towards me. For a moment I knew genuine fear, and then, as it came into the light, I saw a young woman, quite small and wearing a black beret and soaked raincoat. She had a briefcase in one hand. The face was pale, the eyes dark and somehow anxious. "Mr. Higgins? You are Jack Higgins, aren't you?" She was American. That much was obvious. I took a deep breath to steady my nerves. "That's right. What can I do for you?" "I must talk to you, Mr. Higgins. Is there somewhere we could go?" I hesitated, reluctant for all sorts of obvious reasons to take this any further, and yet there was something quite out of the ordinary about her, something not to be resisted. I said, "My flat's just over the square there." "I know," she said. I still hesitated, and she added, "You won't regret it, believe me. I've information of vital importance to you." "About what?" I asked. "What really happened afterwards at Studley Constable." "Oh, lots of things you don't know." Which was enough. I took her arm and said, "Right, let's get in out of this damn rain before you catch your death, and you can tell me what the hell this is all about." The house interior had changed very little, certainly not in my flat, where the tenant had stayed with a late Victorian decor, lots of mahogany furniture, red velvet curtains at the bow window, and a sort of Chinese wallpaper in gold and green, heavily patterned with birds. Except for the central heating radiators, the only other concession to modern living was the kind of gas fire which made it seem as if logs burned brightly in a stainless steel basket. "That's nice," she said, and turned to face me, even smaller than I had thought. She held out her right hand awkwardly, still clutching the briefcase in the other. "Cohen," she said. "Ruth Cohen." I said, "Let's have that coat. I'll put it in front of one of the radiators." "Thank you." She fumbled at her belt with one hand, and I laughed and took the briefcase from her. "Here, let me." As I put it down on the table, I saw that her initials were etched on the flap in black. The only difference was that it said Ph.D. at the end of it. "Ph.D.?" I said. She smiled slightly as she struggled out of the coat. "Harvard, modern history." "That's interesting," I said. "I'll make some tea, or would you prefer coffee?" She smiled again. 6 months post-doc at London University, Mr. Higgins. I'd very definitely prefer your tea." I went through to the kitchen and put on the kettle and made a tray ready. I lit a cigarette as I waited and turned to find her leaning on the doorway, arms folded. "Your thesis," I said, "for your doctorate. What was the subject?" "Certain aspects of the Third Reich in the Second World War." "Interesting." "Cohen, are you Jewish?" I turned to make the tea. "My father was a German Jew. He survived Auschwitz and made it to the U.S., but died the year after I was born." I could think of no more than the usual inadequate response, "I'm sorry." She stared at me blankly for a moment, then turned and went back to the sitting room. I followed with the tray, placed it on a small coffee table by the fire, and we sat opposite each other in wing-back chairs. "Which explains your interest in the Third Reich," I said as I poured the tea. She frowned and took the cup of tea I handed her. "I'm just an historian, no axe to grind. My particular obsession is with the Abwehr, German military intelligence. Why they were so good, and why they were so bad at the same time. Admiral Wilhelm Canaris and his merry men?